Hi guys, so today's activity is going to involve using the scale on a map to help us find the distance between cities. And the goal is to help you understand where Northampton is in relation to some other US cities. So the first thing we want to do when we're looking at a map is identify our scale. So you'll notice right here, guys, it kind of shows us what 50 miles is, 100 miles, etc. So what I'm going to do is measure this. And I like working with 100. It's an easy number to work with. And you'll notice that they didn't make it easy on us. 100 miles is 1 1/16 inch. So here's the scale we're working with. 1 1/16 inch to 100 miles. That's not going to be easy to work with. So I wanted to figure out what 1 inch would equal. So I divided the 100 miles by 1 1/16 and figured out, back up a little, that 1 inch is approximately 94 miles. So that's the scale we're going to work with. So before this pandemic, we were planning a trip to Washington, D.C., and my daughter wanted to know how far away it was. So what I did was I measured the distance from Northampton. I've made a small dot right there in pencil where Northampton is, which I'll have to erase later. And I'm going to measure how far it is to Washington, D.C. Whoops, we lost that a little bit. And notice we're right at 3 5/16 inches from Washington, D.C. So now, the last step to figure out how many miles D.C. is from Washington, D.C., we know 1 inch is 94 miles. So we're going to take our 3 5/16 inches, multiply it by 94 miles. Let me do that on my head real quick. And we get approximately 311 miles from Northampton to Washington, D.C. And so we could say, as the crow flies, it's 311 miles from Northampton to Washington, D.C. Meaning if a crow just flew straight from here to Washington, D.C., it'd be 311 miles. So you're going to do this activity with your own map of the United States, and you'll find the distance from from Northampton to some other cities. Hope you enjoy.